What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and we geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening to the show. And this week it is episode 264, and it's one of our prestigious Patreon poll winning episodes. And we're talking Silent Hill for the PS1. It won our Patreon poll back in June, and I'm slowly playing catch up. I know I still have to get to Wario Land 4 and Devil May Cry. Those are July and August's poll winners, but I'm working on it, slowly getting there. I'm slowly playing catch up, and I'm one step closer. It's finally time to get freaky, like scary, like shut up, you know what I mean. I played Silent Hill 3 last year for the first time for the show. It was my first real Silent Hill experience, and I thought it was pretty cool. I thought the endless chain of locked doors wore on my patience a little bit, but overall I thought it was well done and a very cool alternative to Resident Evil. And I know they're different games, and every time we talk about one and the other one comes up, I get messages about that, but like they're probably the two most iconic horror franchises in gaming. It's very hard not to compare Resident Evil to Silent Hill. Both have pluses and minuses, in my opinion, strengths and weaknesses. But now I've played the Silent Hill that started it all, and I thought, much like Silent Hill 3, I thought it was good. It's pretty good. Pretty very good. Admittedly, I think it's hard to fully appreciate what Silent Hill does, playing it for the first time in 2023 instead of experiencing it, back in 1999 or 2000 when it first came out. Games have come a long way. But I will say I really didn't find its age and its technical limitations to be too much of an issue. Like maybe some of the scares weren't as scary today as they would have been back then, but the game holds up, still controlled well, still played well. The stuff I like about Silent Hill, I really, really liked. And the stuff I hated, I think I would have hated back then. I don't think it made a difference whether it came out today or it came out 24 years ago. So I think it made for a pretty good podcast, if I do say so myself. I had a lot to say about it. And before you message me and tell me, dude, you've played Silent Hill 3, you've played Silent Hill 1, when the fuck are you going to play Silent Hill 2? I hear you. I will get there eventually, I promise. It was on our Patreon poll last month, but it lost out to Devil May Cry. So don't blame me. Blame that crying devil. My guest this week is my go-to guest but it's weird, both horror games and Game Boy games. He covers both ends of the spectrum here. It's an odd combination for sure. It's my buddy Patrick. He's a big Silent Hill fan, and it was fun talking to someone that knows and loves the series as much as he does from the perspective of a guy just taking his first sips of a Silent Hill drink, as it were. So for all you Silent Hillians, I hope we did your game justice. We talked about the good, we talked the bad, we talked the freaky of Harry's adventures with a crazy cat lady and a useless cop, and we'll get all there in just a minute, because speaking of being fucking useless, it is time for another edition of the Remember the Game infamous intro. Dun, 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 dun! And if you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard. Consider this your warning. We have our infamous intro every episode. It's pretty long. It's but it's fun. We talk video games and stuff. It's not just me blowing smoke up my own ass the whole time or anything like that. And it's 38% less scary than Silent Hill and less fog as well. So if you do want to skip it, if you just want Silent Hill talk, just fast forward to about the 30-minute mark and you should be into some Silent Hill words. But I recommend giving the intro a chance. Now that said, I do have to do my plugs. Give me a couple of minutes, how we keep the bills on. We're extending our summer sale until the end of September. You can save 20% on your order of Remember the Game merchandise over at rememberthegamepodcast.com. Use the code RTG5. We have some new awesome designs up there, including our Saturnian World Order shirt and our 5th anniversary shirt featuring me and our CEO. It's good shit. That was all designed by my man Joe from 4545creative.com. Good dude. So show him a little bit of love. And of course, if you don't want clothes, I get it. I understand. You could always just consider supporting us on Patreon. It's about the best deal in the history of the internet. And our Patreon episodes are finally listenable on Spotify. Finally, fuck me. We offer 4 extra shows a week. Every Monday, Purple Monkey Dishwasher, our Simpsons podcast with me and Mark McHugh. Every Tuesday, it's The Rambling Idiot, where I talk my comedy career, TV, movies, sports, news, whatever I feel like talking about. Every Friday, I drop Game Patch, which is my modern gaming news show. And every Thursday, it's Expansion Pass, which is a different gaming-themed show every week. We do rankings. We look back at characters, consoles, genres, franchises. We do some comedy episodes. There's what-ifs. There's a ton of modern game reviews. And this past week, it was Expansion Pass 177, and it was one of those modern reviews. I dropped my Final Fantasy 16 review. I kept it spoiler-free, like almost all of my modern game reviews, and I had quite a bit to say about it. I thought it was a really good game. It's not going to crack my Game of the Year ballot, and I don't think it sneaks into my top 5 Final Fantasies, but it was good. And that said, I'm very interested to see where they take the franchise with 17 at some point down the road. It's pretty interesting, so As is becoming tradition, here is a sneak peek of last week's episode of Expansion Pass, my Final Fantasy 16 review. I have not played Final Fantasy 12 or 13, and I haven't played the MMOs 11 and 14, but I have played Final Fantasy 15, I've played Final Fantasy 7 Remake, and I've played now Final Fantasy 16. And all three of those games are more action combat. There's not like an active time meter where you're standing there waiting for your turn to take an act or whatever. You're just moving around and mashing the attack button, and it's a lot of people have compared the combat in this game to apparently Devil May Cry. That's more of what you're getting with this type of game. And I will say, well, I think it's probably a controversial opinion. Generally, I do like my RPGs better this way. Not always. Like, I'm loving Sea of Stars right now, and that's classic turn-based RPG. But I do sometimes get bored playing turn-based RPGs. I like a little bit of action, a little pep in my step. So I enjoy the combat in a game like this. So that's now available in our archives. And this week, it's Expansion Pass 178. I'm dropping another modern game review, and this one probably will make my Game of the Year ballot, to be honest. It's Sea of Stars, the new Chrono Trigger-ish JRPG from Sabotage, the nerds behind The Messenger. I loved The Messenger, and I love Sea of Stars. Cannot wait to talk about this game. It was brilliant. Took over my life for about 10 days. I fucking love this game. So that'll go live tomorrow for all our Patreons. And again, subscriptions start at $3 a month to get new podcasts every week, instant access to hundreds of ad-free bonus podcasts you can add right to your phone. Go to rememberthegamepodcast.com, and you can actually view them all on Spotify and see exactly what's in that back catalog. Not only do you get a bunch of shows, you also get access to our Discord, the chance to vote in our Patreon poll every month, the ability to submit comments to be read on our shows. You can DM with me, and you even get a shout-out, and you get to hear me mispronounce your name like I'm about to do to most of these people. A huge thank you to all of our newest Patreons. Andrew Rodman, Sally sells seashells by the seashore. That one, I'm good at tongue twisters. I can't say people's names to save my life, but you want to drop a Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, or how much wood woodchuck cup of woodchuck could chuck wood, I'm like, I'll crush those. Just don't ask me to say your name, then I'm fucked. Northern Albertan, Nathan Drake, wow. Some Kind of Rabbit, Jeff D24, Lord Stockula, Yuppers, Generic Name 238, Fernando McCrew. Hey, Fernando. Shout out to anyone that gets that. Rare. No one else is going to get it, but doesn't matter. Cool Gary, Prism Power 2000, Dr. Gonzo, Stephanie Lassen, I think it's Lassen. Sorry, Stephanie. Armani Johnson, Gavin Williams, Bob Pika, Dylan Kennedy, The Beast Legend Gaming, and David Tovar. Thank you all so much for the support, and welcome to Remember the Game Industries. You can check all that out at patreon.com/rememberthegame. And don't forget, 5% of our donations get of our income gets donated to the Stollery Children's Hospital as part of my 24-hour stream. And we offer annual subs that'll save you your 12 months fees. There you go. That's the plugs. They're done. Oh, yeah. You can find me on Twitch. It's free. Just come by and say hi. Twitch.tv/rememberthegame. All right. Now I'm done. That's enough blowing myself. Let's blow some of you by blowing in some cartridges. It is our opening segment here on the show. I read a few comments and questions from our Patreons, usually gaming related, but not always. And we call this segment Blowing in the Cartridge.
He blows all right. He blows big time.
That's it, honey. Get into the spirit.
Let's blow. Our first blower this week is Pee-wee Squitters, who wrote in and said, Adam, recently I came across a Reddit post saying Mercury Steam, the studio behind Metroid Dread, was working on a Super Metroid remake. This got me so hyped, but when I looked it up, there's nothing on the internet about it, meaning the Reddit post probably wasn't true. Have you heard anything on this? If not, I need you to use your powers to will this one into existence. I have not seen anything about that. I think there's been rumors there's been a Metroid Super Metroid remake in the works for a while, but nothing official. I haven't seen anything. I check the gaming news every day, and I haven't seen anything. But yes, Pee-wee Squitters, for anyone that's newer to our show, I seem to have this odd ability to will games into existence. I've made it happen on numerous occasions, and yes, that is what I am willing to use my powers for. A Super Metroid remake, even just in the exact same art style as Metroid Dread, would be a day one purchase for me. So yep, it's out in the universe now. You should be playing it by Christmas. You're welcome. Thomas Fitzpatrick said, hey, Adam, I'm a 17-year-old and I'm graduating high school this year. I love retro games and your podcast, even though most kids my age don't care that much for them. Anyway, I was just wondering if you had any suggestions on what to do if you're not sure what to do with the rest of your life. I've got good grades and I can go to college. I'm just not sure if I want to or not. What do I do? General? Well, first of all, Thomas, congrats on graduating, congratulations on hopefully graduating high school this year. I won't jinx it because going into grade 12, I thought it was a lock, and that was a photo finish. The ink dried on my degree as they were handing it to me, my diploma, because I didn't know if I was going to get it. But thank you for the support and good luck. Honestly, I don't know. Listen, I don't want to take shit from everybody, but I've talked about this on the Rambling Idiot before. I'm not anti-college, university, whatever, but I don't think you should go just for the sake of going. Don't get yourself into a ton of student debt just for the sake of going to school to study something that like maybe your mom or your dad or somebody thinks you should study. I genuinely think people should take a couple years off after school. Get a job, do some traveling, have some fun, get to know the real world a little bit, and I think you'll get a better idea of what you want to do. Because I'll tell you right now, if I had gone into college right after high school, I wouldn't be doing this podcast right now. 100%. I was just fortunate I didn't have the grades to get in, and then I never bothered to go back. And some people tell me that. They're like, you shouldn't be telling kids to take a couple years off after school because then they'll probably never go back to college or university. And I'm like, good. If you don't go back, you probably didn't want to. I see zero merit in going to post-secondary education just because you think you're supposed to. So enjoy life, get a job, enjoy not having to go to school for a little while, and figure out what you want to be sure. Just be sure before you go. Don't just go because your parents or somebody told you to. That's all I would. And maybe drive a forklift for 15 years and then get fed up with it. Try being a comedian. Decide you don't want to be a comedian anymore. Wait for a global pandemic to keep you at home for 6 months or 2 years or whatever the fuck time it was. And then start a retro gaming podcast. And then profits. That's how it works. Good luck, Thomas. Smooth Operator said, hey, Adam, from time to time, I've heard you mention Push Square, the PlayStation news site. I'm an avid reader there myself, as well as Nintendo Life, and I've noticed there's someone who comments on a lot of the articles under the name of Member the Game. I was just wondering if this is you, or is it an imposter? I'm joking about the imposter, but obviously, I was genuinely curious if it was you. It is not. For the record, if you ever see me comment on any social media, I'm either going to be, I guess that makes sense because I was going to say I'm usually Member the Game, and that is Member the Game. So your story checks out. But no, I don't make a lot of comments outside of Reddit and my social media. I really don't post very often. I don't even post on Reddit very often. But no, it's not. I promise it is not me. It might be Molly, but it is not me. And for the record, if any of you are looking for some good news sites, GameSpot is my number one go-to news site. I check IGN a couple of times a week. And then I really like Push Square for PlayStation news, Pure Xbox for Xbox news, and Nintendo Life for Nintendo news. I think they're all by the same people because they all look the same, and they're all are similar layouts. All great news websites. So highly recommend checking those out. Sorry if I sound congested. My allergies have decided to wage a full-blown war on my sinuses for some reason the last couple of days. It's that nerd James said, hey, Adam, my question for you this week is, what games collection would you like to start or restart? For me, I've been collecting Xbox 360 games, and the collection is growing a lot, and I can't wait to play through all the games I either missed or replay them again. I got out of collecting, I don't know, about 10 years ago. I sold my collection. I regret selling some of it now. Not all of it. Like, I don't need it all back, but I wish I had sold, like, my childhood copy of Earthbound and stuff, and I wish I hadn't done that, to be truthful. But the only thing I really collect now is I have a small GameCube collection. GameCube games just aren't easy to get your hands on anywhere. It's one of my favorite systems ever. I think it looks cool. I think it still plays well. I love that controller. So I have a small, growing collection of GameCube games. And if I had, like, someone gave me, like, $5,000 or something, and it was like, you can only spend it on a game collection, I would probably just throw it at GameCube games. And then you watch. I'll fucking build that collection, and then sure as fuck, Nintendo will add the GameCube games to their next system. And fuck me. I guarantee you that's what's going to happen. So, GameCube all day. LA Rams fan said, hey, Adam, I recently listened to the Fortnite podcast you did back in the day with your nephew, and it made me realize that my niece and I share the same type of enjoyment you guys had with Fortnite when we play Roblox together. That's nice. Do you two still play certain games together even though he's older now? Being an Uncle Rocks, just not when you realize you're losing to an 11-year-old. Yeah, losing to him fucking sucks. No, we don't. I get asked about that once in a while. Is Ben ever going to come back on the show? He's on a few episodes in the early days. Ben will be 18 this year. He's in grade 12. He's got a social life. He's out doing, all the stuff that the punk-ass kids do. Still a great guy. Still a great kid. He comes out and visits every summer. I love talking to him. I like him. But he's not really playing a lot anymore, period. So we don't really play anything together. No plans to have him back on the show as of now. But come see me in like another 10 years when he's done that phase and now he just wants to stay home again. And then maybe I know I got out of gaming around his age and then went back to it once I got older and was broke. So I just need to wait for him to be broke and then he'll come back. Billy O Blues Link said, "Hello, Mr. Blank. I was wondering what your style is when you play Road to the Show mode in MLB The Show. What position do you pick? Do you make your avatar look like you? Do you name him Adam Blank, or do you make him jacked with the best stats possible and call him something else? I've done both and was wondering what your modus operandi is. Have a fantastical week." I used to create myself, and I try to make him look like me, and it was Adam Blank. But now I usually go with Hoju. That's the name I use in every game. So I usually create Homer Jr. is his name, and I don't make him look like me at all. I just kind of pick whatever I think is funny. I usually give him like a really greasy mustache and stuff. But I practically always play shortstop. And I don't focus on like jacking up every stat. I play pretty realistic. I like having that like fast shortstop. I steal a lot of bases. And I try to get myself in a position where I'm batting like 2-3, and I'm the guy that gets on base before the power guys come up and bring me home, baby. But yeah, shortstop. I've always liked play. Like, I'm not good at it in real life, but I've always liked the shortstop position. I think it's cool. I think the shortstop is the coolest position. So yeah, that's all. Girls dig the shortstops, especially when you're short like me and you stop. Anyways, so yeah, shortstop. Fallen Snow Kiku said, "Hey Adam, you've mentioned before a few times that given the choice between good and evil options or campaigns in games, you usually pick the evil one. My question is, what are some of your favorite evil routes in games?" That's a good question. Easily. I had a hard time coming up with a few because, frankly, I don't think a lot of games do a very good job of giving you they give you the fake making you think that you can choose between being evil and good. But then there's really not that much. There's not really that much of a difference. The story doesn't really change that much. But I will say easily number one for me is KOTOR. Easily. Not partially because I think the game is easier. I didn't know until I played it that if you play evil and go to the dark side, you have way more money. But it's also just fun to be a jerk. Plus, you can roll around with HK-47. Was that his name, that robot? I haven't played it in a few years. You're like evil robot. And KOTOR for sure was my number one. Plus, I just like the dark side in Star Wars. So, KOTOR. Infamous. I've always tried to play the evil playthrough in Infamous, but I never felt it did a very good job separating them. I think it would have been cool if you actually became a villain instead of just kind of like a jerk hero. Like, if we ever get another Infamous game, which I hope we do someday, I hope you have the chance to play, like, you get superpowers and you can go full-blown hero or full-blown villain. And it totally changes the way you play depending on which way you play it. I think that'd be so sick. Because that's what I want. Make me a villain, damn it. Mass Effect 2. I like to play as a jerk in Mass Effect and get all the glowing evil scars on your face and just look disgusting, and I like that a lot. And then in wrestling games, I always make myself like a heel, and I always give myself like all the cheapest moves, the low blows, the eye pokes, and the spitting of the poison mist, and all those types of things. But I think KOTOR is easily number one. Easily. God, I love that game. And then before we move on, of course, it's letter time. It's letter time. And Noof on the Loose said, "Hey, one damn." And I like that. "Any interest in Armored Core? This is my first one, and I'm having a blast. Once you get the first few missions under your belt, you start to feel like a badass." Not as of now. I do think Armored Core looks kind of neat, but it's not really on my radar right now. Some of you are probably getting sick of hearing this because I do occasionally post and talk about the games I'm going to play for the rest of the year. But I'm telling you, not a day goes by that I don't get half a dozen, "Hey, you should play this. Are you going to play this?" And it can be old games. It could be new games. So I just wanted to get it out there officially. If you follow me on Twitter or Instagram @MemberTheGame, I do post the games I'm planning to play for the next few months on there once in a while, so you have a rough idea. But just so everybody knows, for the rest of this year, as far as modern games go, I'm playing Starfield right now. That'll take me to Spider-Man 2 and Mario Bros. Wonder in October, which will take me to Mario RPG in November. And then if there's time in December, I'll probably try to sneak in Persona 5 Tactica. I don't think there's going to be time. And if Hollow Knight Silksong, by some fluke comes out this year, then I'll find a way to squeeze it in. But that's really it. If it's not one of those, I'm probably not going to play it this year. Armored Core is a maybe someday. I will say I've been getting asked a lot about Baldur's Gate. I'm not going to play that one. I'm not saying it looks bad. It looks cool, but it's way too long, and I have no time as it is. So I'm not going to touch that one. If it's not one of the games I just listed, I'm probably not going to get to it today. Star Wars Jedi Survivor is the one game from this year I wanted to get to, didn't have time, that I'd like to go back to, and I don't think I'm going to have time to do that. I'm one man, and I got to spend most of my time gaming playing old games for the show, so the new games have to take a back seat. So that's basically where, and all those games I just listed will probably get expansion pass reviews once I'm done. But that's probably every modern game I'm going to play this year. I can't see too much else squeaking in there. I have no more room, so anyway, thank you for writing in, everybody. Thanks for all your submissions. We got to keep the show moving, so let's switch it up, get to our Smash Hit segment, the official game show of Remember the Game Industries. You know it, I know it. It's play one, remake one, erase one. And a huge thank you to Classic Concentration from the NES for unknowingly providing us with the theme music for the show. The rules are simple. Every week I give our Patreons 3 retro video games. They can play one as it was released, remake one as a modern game, and the third is erased from time forever. As always, there are no wrong answers, but there is a right one. How did I forget that? I say that every week, but we'll get there in just a minute. And this week, since we're talking Silent Hill, and we've done like Resident Evil, Silent Hill, other old scary games on the poll before, so I decided to go all in on the Silent Hill franchise this week. Our 3 contenders are Silent Hill 2, 3, and 4. And 42% said to play Silent Hill 3, remake Silent Hill 2, and erase Silent Hill 4. That was the order I expected to win, but I expected it to win by a much bigger margin than 42%, quite frankly. So let me tell you what a few of you had to say here, and then I'll tell you what the right answer was. Captain Chunky Beard. I don't like that name. I just picture this beard full of like sour milk. Captain Chunky Beard said, I remember playing 2 and 3 as a kid and they scared the shit out of me. So play 3, remake 2, and erase 4. The only reason why is because them be the rules and that's what we play by. And that's how what we play by. What the fuck? Did you mean to word it that way? You're on single secret probation for fucking with my head. But yeah, I expected that to be the common order because I know Silent Hill 2 is the best one according to everybody and they want the remake of it and everybody seems to hate 4. But let's see, not everybody went in that order. Inside Wedge said play Silent Hill 2 because it's great on its own as it is and it set the context for the town and the original trilogy. Remake Silent Hill 3 because I can't imagine this one being erased and it closes out the story of the first game. And then erase Silent Hill 4 because it's weak and doesn't do much for the series. So I have not played Silent Hill 4 yet, but even Patrick on today's show gets into like, he really doesn't like that game either. People really just hate Silent Hill 4. It makes me want to play it and say I love it, even if I don't, just to be a troll or a what's the word I'm looking for? Damn it. When you go against what everybody else said, contrarian. I was like conversationalist. That's not the word. A contrarian. Word of the day. David Phillips said, tough one. Play Silent Hill 3 because I really love Heather and I found the story very good. Remake Silent Hill 4. Change this into kind of a Metroidvania with Henry trapped in his room and slowly going farther and farther into Silent Hill, trying to find his way out. Erase Silent Hill 2. This is likely the best of the 3, but Pyramid Head got way overused because of this game. So maybe if Silent Hill 3 became Silent Hill 2 instead, things could be different overall. That is a hot, and I'm not judging because I haven't played 4 2, but very few people wrote in saying remake Silent Hill 4 and erase Silent Hill 2. That is, wow. Spicy take, David. I like it. Hibs Habs said play all 3, erase all 3, scary games give me diarrhea. You're on double secret probation for not playing by the rules, and I don't usually read these, but I wanted to read this one because I sympathize, because scary things also give me diarrhea. So I feel you, Hibs Habs, I feel you. And Phil Lencher said, I love this franchise. I'm playing Silent Hill 4. It was a much better game than even I gave it credit for upon its release. Ooh. I'll remake Silent Hill 3. It was great to continue the story started in the first game. And I'll erase Silent Hill 2. It doesn't have a place in the timeline. It's also the most overhyped of the bunch. Wow. I ask you, kind listeners that love Silent Hill, is Silent Hill 2 overhyped? I gotta play this game. I will get to it eventually. I gotta see for myself if it's all that like people say it is. Personally, I'm going with the runner-up option on the poll this week. 24% of you did it, as did Some Kind of Rabbit, who said, I never played any of these, but most series from this era got worse as they went along. So following that logic, I'll play Silent Hill 2 because it's probably still good. I'll remake Silent Hill 3 because it's probably still okay, but I assume the series was getting sketchy by this point. And erase Silent Hill 4 because this deep in a series with a number and a subtitle, it pretty much has to suck. I love your fucking logic, Some Kind of Rabbit. I love it. Same order for me, but different reasoning. I'm going to play Silent Hill 2 because I haven't, and I'm sick of hearing about it, and I need to see for myself if it's all that and a bag of chips or if it's overhyped. I'm going to remake Silent Hill 3 because I've played it, I like it, but I want it to play like Resident Evil 2 Remake. Yes, and get rid of some of the locked fucking doors. And then I'm going to erase Silent Hill 4 because honestly, I think 3 is enough. And everybody else seems to hate Silent Hill 4, so I might as well be cool and hate it as well. So there you go. Thanks, everybody that wrote in to play along this week, as always. I'll tell you what I've been playing, and then we'll get into Silent Hill talk in just a minute after we pause for me to have some water and hear a quick word from one of our sponsors, hopefully, maybe. We've had some great partners over the years here at Remember the Game, but I don't know if any of them have hit home for me quite like Hometown Hero does. No pun intended. Don't start. It's a transparent, honest cannabis company that helps people and gives back to those that have served their country at the same time. I mean, come on. As soon as I read about these guys, I knew I wanted to work with them. Hometown Hero is a cannabis company out of Austin, Texas, and they were founded back in 2015 by a U.S. veteran. They have two goals: create premium hemp products that can help everyone, and to support veterans by donating a portion of those profits to organizations set up to take care of those who have served. Hometown Hero products are of the highest quality, and everything they offer is made right there in the U.S. of A. Gummies, caramels, chocolates, drink mix. There's something for everyone. And what's more, their hemp is grown locally in Texas, which is something they should and do take a lot of pride in. And they offer certificates of analysis for everything they sell because they want to be clear that their products are as advertised, both in terms of potency and ingredients. No contaminants, you get what you pay for. Just how they conduct business is enough to get my good eyes' attention, but when you circle back to the fact that the company was founded by a veteran and they put such heavy emphasis on supporting veterans, this isn't just lip service. I'm not reading a script I was given here. I'm proud to have Hometown Hero associated with Remember the Game. Reclaim your evening. Visit hometownhero.com and use code RTG to take 20% off your first purchase. That's hometownhero.com, code RTG for 20% off your first purchase. This is an ad by BetterHelp. A band once said, "Work sucks, I know." And I think most people agree with them. Workplace stress is now one of the top causes of declining mental health, with 61% of the global workforce experiencing higher than normal levels of stress from their jobs. And while walking away from your job might not be an option, taking a little time every day to focus on yourself and your mental health can make a huge difference. I know in the summer I try to get outside every day, get a little bit of sun, and just enjoy the outdoors. It really helps. At least until my allergies attack, and then it's ugly. It's important to take steps to combat work stress, and therapy can be a huge one. It's not just for overcoming trauma. Therapy can help you define work goals, set some work boundaries, develop coping skills. It's like a cheat code for life. And if you're thinking, man, I'm too busy for therapy, well, look into BetterHelp. They make therapy as convenient as possible. You can meet with one of their over 30,000 therapists online and on your schedule, just like over 5 million people around the world already have done. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Unwind from work with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/rememberthegame. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/rememberthegame. All right, what have I been playing over the last week? Silent Hill. A lot of Silent Hill. Finished it, done it, going to talk about it shortly. Sea of Stars. Played a lot. That game took over my fucking life for like 10 days. Played it, loved it. We'll talk about that on Expansion Pass tomorrow. And then I finally have gotten into Starfield. I started playing it a couple of days ago. Really put my first like session into it last night. Neat. I can't decide yet. People keep telling me you got to go like 10, 20 hours in, which I think is ridiculous. But don't love it yet. Don't hate it yet. Definitely going to keep playing it. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be playing Starfield until Spider-Man and Mario drop next month. For sure. So there you go. Let's talk Silent Hill. That's why you kids are here. As always, I like to let my guests sound off on the game we're covering I like to let the listeners sound off on the game we're covering before my guest and I hog the microphone. So let's see what a few of you had to say here. Cowabungai said, "Oh man, I love this game. I actually prefer this to the sequel. I know, for shame, but oh well. I used to play this in Clock Tower a crap ton of times with my best friends and sister when they spent the night. I'm not a huge Sony guy, but the PSX had some of the best games for the generation. The way they did the fog to hide limitations was great, and I didn't think of that when I was so into the game. I hope you enjoyed this one, and don't let the graphics and controls turn you off too much. Being born in 85, I was the right age when this game came out and was the first game to truly creep me out along with Clock Tower. Game on, AB. I want to say for the record, like a lot of people dunk on the controls, and we're going to get into that in like 2 minutes here. I really don't think the controls are that bad at all. I really think people are overreacting, saying that tank controls are shit. They really don't bother me. Other things about this game bother me, but not the controls. Matthew Burke said, "I love this game. I originally played it as a teenager and it freaked me the heck out. I replayed it this summer on my handheld emulator, and the nostalgia and the bad voice acting scratched all those hard to reach itches that we need old games to hit." Dude, the voice acting is horrendously bad, and I'm all about it. That got it some points. I love the bad voice acting. I looked at the trap ray, said, I remember getting this back in the day. Truly terrifying. It made Resident Evil look like child's play. I always thought that, well, Resident Evil was survival horror. This should have been called survival terror. It erased the B-movie-esque parts of Resident Evil and replaced it with something that was heart-pounding and didn't rely on jump scares. I love this game so much, and to this day, I still get anxious going through the school. It's a roller coaster that only lets up when the light fog reappears as you finish. This game starts off by grabbing you by the throat, doesn't let up until you are done, back when Konami gave two shits about their games. I love that final point. Where in the fuck? I know Konami's making their like pachinko or whatever the fuck machines now, their casino machines. I miss it when Konami was like, we make good video games. Oh my God. I miss them. Well said, Trapped Ray. Well said. Victor from Regina said the air quality in real life is starting to resemble the draw distances in this game, and if that isn't scary, I don't know what it is. When I was a kid, the radio static drove me up the wall in this game. I think the radio static in Silent Hill is the single coolest thing these games do, and Patrick and I are going to get into that in a second. I love the radio static mechanic in Silent Hill. If you've never played them, you have a radio on, and when enemies are getting close, the static kicks in, and I love that system so much. And Impressive Beans said, thank you, Loud. Loud. I love that. This game is the reason my pupils dilated with fear as a kid growing up. I remember being so pissed I couldn't get past the beginning because I couldn't find the damn key. Shout out to GamePro for dropping a strategy guide to help me get past that part. We talk about that in a minute. Well, this game wasn't the prettiest or the sexiest controls. It was paramount, solidifying my love for many horror games game series to follow. Let's not forget that it spawned Silent Hill 2, which to me was the bar in psychological horror games and in some ways still is. Can't wait to hear your review, good or bad. Yeah, those keys at the very beginning of the game is fucking stupid. But anyways, let's get into it. It's time to talk about Silent Hill with my buddy Patrick. I'm excited. You're excited. I'm going to cue up some music. And when it stops, Patrick and I are going to take a look back at Silent Hill, which originally released on the PlayStation in North America on February 23rd, 1999. Enjoy the podcast, everybody. Let's go. All right, so just a quick heads up, everybody, before I introduce my guest to talk about the game or anything. Spoilers. I know sometimes I'm pretty anal about not spoiling stuff. I don't think we can talk about a game as dedicated to its story as Silent Hill without spoiling things. So just know that the spoilers are coming, all right? You've been warned. I don't want any angry letters. Joining me via the blank phone this week to spoil Silent Hill is my go-to guy for it's funny, dude, you're like the go-to guy for horror games and the Game Boy. Like,
yeah, I like to live in this kind of duality of a lifestyle.
Yeah, you're like Harry, and the Game Boy is like the world when it's not in the danger place, and then these horror games are like when you go into the danger place. You're both.
That's right.
That's you.
Yeah.
It is my buddy Patrick.
I'm living in a personal Silent Hill all the time.
Yeah. This podcast brings out your inner Silent Hill. It is my buddy Patrick. How are you, man? How you been?
I'm good. We're returning to traveling back in time from the last time we talked, from Silent Hill 3 to Silent Hill 1.
Yeah. Okay. So I've played Silent Hill 1 and 3 now. And before, as I know, you and I were just talking about this off the air. We might as well address the elephant in the room. I'm fully aware that everybody says Silent Hill 2 is the best of the series, quite frankly.
Correct.
I'm playing the ones that win Patreon polls. All right? So don't y'all get mad at me. These are the ones that won the polls. Silent Hill 2 was
obligations.
Yeah, and Silent Hill 2 was just on a Patreon poll, and it lost to Devil May Cry.
You guys have let me down.
It had its chance, and it blew it. I will ask you, dude, before we get into Silent Hill 1, have you played 4? I know you've played 1, 2, and 3. Have you played 4?
Yes, we discussed this earlier too.
Okay.
I do not like 4 very much.
Right. So how would you rank the original 4 Silent Hill games from worst to best? 4 would be the worst.
It used to be 2, 1, 3, 4, but since we've revisited and I kind of got to spend more time with 3 again, it's tough. It's like 2 for sure is number 1, and then it's a toss between like 1 and 3. I'm still feeling, having played both 1 and 3 recently within this year for this podcast, 3 was still more fun for me than revisiting 1, and then 4 is I don't want to talk about 4.
Fair
Don't
enough.
have me on for 4.
I love it. You gotta finish the series. If you're the guest for 2, and I'm sure you will be, then you've got to come back for 4 at some point.
We have other games. We can go Shattered Memories.
Yeah.
We can go Origins. Like we can do prequels, remakes. I'm anything else other than 4.
We can go to the Game Boy again and just talk about something safe over there. Yeah,
yeah.
Fair enough. No, I'm excited. I want to play 2 at some point. I do know what Pyramid Head is into, and that guy, just from the images I've seen, scares the fuck out of me. But I am looking forward to playing 2. I gotta say though, I was excited to play this one after playing 3, because Silent Hill 3 was my first Silent Hill, and I enjoyed it. And I was looking forward to playing this one and seeing where it all started. And I don't want all of you Silent Hill fans to get anxious right now listening to this and being like, we've waited 5 years for this episode, and now he's going to shit all over a game. I'm not going to shit all over your game at all. But I will just say I think I like Silent Hill 3 better. I don't know if that's a hot take. I think I liked 3 better.
Yeah, I mean, that's hard to that would be like saying you like Resident Evil 4 more than 2. You know, like you're jumping a system, you're jumping graphics, you're jumping, you know.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I mean, I don't think that's really unfair. You know, you're taking a game that specifically, like, first groundbreaking as it is on the system, Silent Hill 1, it is still kind of an ugly looking game. You know, for the time, it's fantastic, but like we were talking before we started, it is very dated looking.
Yeah, it's interesting, man, because like I've said this on the podcast numerous times. I think there's not a genre in gaming that has benefited from the advances in technology more than the horror genre. Maybe racing games, because they can go faster and smoother. But like, look at Silent Hill and then look at like Resident Evil 4 Remake. And it's just like graphics play such a big role in a horror game in making you feel that immersion. I'm not a graphics guy. But it's like you're playing Silent Hill 1, and like, sure, there's moments that are scary, but I'm like, the guy is made of Lego, like everything. You know what I mean? I'm like, this. It's
absolutely.
And
but where this game really excels in that sense is not necessarily the imagery, but it's like the feeling, the use of like the darkness and the snowing and the fog and everything. Really, it goes for more of a psychological horror rather than a straight up, visual horror.
Totally.
Or,
agreed.
Frightening imagery.
Agreed.
There is some of that, and there's some really good stuff where they do use it.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%. And I think this game makes use of what it has, like incredibly well. Like, we're gonna get into the whole fog and everything, but it's like, I know there's some PS1 games. Like, have you ever played Spider-Man on the PS1?
Absolutely.
And like the streets.
Talk about a game that utilizes fog.
Yeah, right. And all the streets and everything are covered in fog, and it's clearly like the PS1 can't load everything, so let's hide it behind the fog. And I assume that maybe that was part of the reason they did the fog in Silent Hill. But unlike Spider-Man, what's that?
I believe so. Yeah. I think it was kind of part of the limitations of the system. Totally.
But the difference is, unlike Spider-Man, where it seemed kind of cheap and cheesy, it actually added a lot. Like, it worked so well in this game that it's like, I didn't even, never once was I like, this is only here because the game can't load. It was like, no, this is adding atmosphere and stuff. It's really cool.
I believe Silent Hill to be the town of constant fog and the world's widest city streets.
Yeah, no shit. Fuck me. Oh, fuck. We'll get into that too. I just, like, I want to make sure I make this clear to everybody off the top, because like, I have some criticisms of this game, but like, I'm not gonna criticize. Like, you see things that are clearly just a result of it coming out in 1999. And I think to truly experience Silent Hill for everything it is and have a true, like, not appreciation, because I appreciate it, but like to fully understand what it was doing, I really think this is a game that had to be experienced back when it came out. Like, I think this is a hard one to play for the first time now and have it have the impact it would have had if you'd played it in 1999. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think you would have been better off if you started with this one and then went either like to 2 and then 3, or you did this one, then 2, or then 3 being like the direct sequel to this one.
Right.
That might have been a little bit, I think that might have kind of gotten rid of some of that feeling. But for sure, even revisiting it for the podcast, this is the first time I've played it in years now. And, there's something that happens with these games where you start playing them and you're like, tank controls, and you got to kind of get the muscle memory of these old style games. And there's this kind of hump to get over where you're like camera and combat and all of this stuff. But then the game is so good that once you kind of get past that, you don't really think about it anymore.
Sure. And I want to say for the record, like, I know how many people are critical of the tank controls. I am pro tank controls especially when it comes to old school horror games.
Yeah, I found myself as I was playing this, I was like, I really do enjoy like tank controls.
Yeah.
Like,
now that said though, because like I feel the same way about like the old school Resident Evil games. I'm like, people dunk on the tank controls, but I'm like, they work in this. It makes it like if you had free control of your character, I think it would take away some of the horror because the bad guys would be too easy to fight.
Especially the panic. Like the big thing of being like, you've got your left and right side step, you're running strife around, and then it's like the jumping backwards to dodge, and that's it. Like you can quick turn and try to run away, but you're in a panic situation. You're kind of at the mercy of what you are able to remember how to do in the moment.
Totally. Yeah. Like now that said, while I defend the tank controls like in the original Resident Evil 2, playing the remake of Resident Evil 2, I was like, oh, this is way better. But I can defend the tank controls. And
sure.
Let's be honest, like there's no way you can talk Silent Hill or Resident Evil without comparing them to each other. They're always going to be like Nadal and Federer, like they're always going to be attached to the hip with each other. But I will say that like, does like you're a bigger Silent Hill fan than me. Like, does anyone play Silent Hill for the combat? You know what I mean? Like it like the combat is there and it works, but like Resident Evil, you are shooting zombies and stuff. To me, Silent Hill is more about like creeping around and the horror and the solving of the puzzles than the combat.
Yeah.
The combat
is again,
there.
It's that difference of like, say like an action horror versus a psychological horror.
Yeah, agreed.
You have the combat, you have the ability to kill everything if you want, but it's less focused on that.
Totally,
just in even not having like any of the ability to aim at parts of the body. It's just a straight up take your shot, kick them when they're down, hit them with a pipe.
Yeah. Well, then like, dude, this is my second Silent Hill game, and I have to say like, I hate boss fights, but most of the time I hate boss fights because I just find them hard and I suck at them and I get mad when I lose. Like, I have yet to even remotely struggle with a boss fight in a Silent Hill game. It's almost, I don't even know why they're there. You just mash, shoot, and stand there and you're fine.
Yeah.
And I found the same thing with this one.
It's more, I think, a story piece than it is like an obstacle.
Sure. Yeah, I loved it.
For the, up the horror factor.
Yeah, because the boss fights are just, they're whatever. Fighting the enemies is here or there, but the boss fights are always, like, they load up and I'm like, oh, fuck, here comes a giant mole rat worm thing that farts poison. Here comes the big fucking puking poison moth thing, and then it's like, oh, just keep your distance and mash shoot when they come up and you'll be fine. Dude, pretty much, we'll get there, but the final boss, I was streaming this when I finished the game and I was like, that's it, that was it, and that was it.
Did you do the circle running in place to just avoid the lightning? I don't know which
I got the bad ending.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's get it. I had to get that out there. The boss fights are laughable in this franchise. So, okay. So let's, I want to, cause I didn't play this until about 2 weeks ago. I assume you've been playing this game for like 25 years now, almost.
I didn't play it when it first came out, but I think I played it after Silent Hill 2 had come out. That's when I got a copy of it. When the PlayStation 1 was on its way out, I got a copy that I bought off of somebody for pretty cheap just to add to my collection because I had been playing 2 and I think 3 was about to come out at that time.
Good investment because I looked into buying a copy of this game to play for the show.
I still had it.
Yeah, I don't have that kind of money.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah, I did not get for it what it's worth now, for sure.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like dude, where the fuck is this franchise? Like, how has Silent Hill been dead for? I know PT.
I know.
Almost brought it back and didn't. But what the fuck?
Yeah.
Konami.
I know. That's kind of something. I think they've kind of fucked too much around with like the prequel and then doing the remake. I think if they did a next gen remake of 2, that could possibly bring it back. That's what I would like to see. That seems to be the most logical kind of next step, rather than trying to make a new story. Just give people what they want, which is update 2.
Sure. I'm just making sure that I'm not crazy before I fucking say this, but I'm like, they are remake. Yeah, they are. There is a remake of Silent Hill 2 coming.
I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah, they announced it
but...
a few months ago. It is coming.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know when.
I feel like I've been hearing that for years.
Yeah, totally. But it is coming. So I got to play the original before that comes out so I can try that out. But anyway, okay, so yeah, so you start this game and you're Harry, and I will say after playing 3, it was kind of neat because I understood some of what was going on in this.
Yeah, to kind of understand, and that's why I think like if you had done 1 and 3, it would have been a little bit better of an experience to go into 3 knowing the story of 1. But
sure.
It's cool. It's cool going back the other way too.
Now that said, and some of you are going to criticize me for this, and that's fine. And I feel the same way about Resident Evil. I don't completely understand what the fuck is going on. Like, I had to look up the synopsis after I finished it, and I read it, and I was like, okay, I think I get it, but I still don't totally get it. It's a very convoluted, maybe. I don't know if that's the word.
It's very story driven, and it like I have friends who love this series. I've got one friend in particular who could tell you the entire story, the entire series, how everything links together, and I have a hard time especially when I'm playing through it. I'm going kind of like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah. Like now I think part of the problem too is if you're listening to this and you have not played Silent Hill, I mean, you can't fucking afford it. But if you ever get a chance to play it, like I really think, like I played it over 2 weeks and I had like 3-4 day breaks in between and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I really think this is a game best marathoned. Like trying to come back to it and remember what the fuck was going on and stuff. I found that very difficult.
I found especially towards the end where they really piled on like the cult stuff.
Yeah.
And you're collecting like a lot of those like little amulets and stuff. And you're kind of going like, what?
Yeah.
The overall story, like I understand, the overall story of it and like how it ties into 3. But it does feel
so like
it feels poetic in the way that they try to explain it to you almost. Like we had a joke when you were playing it. I said like some of the puzzles in the stories, like you either have to be like a genius or a poet to understand this game.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, buddy, we'll get to those fucking puzzles. I'm gonna sound off on those fucking puzzles. But like, I forgot how when I beat the game, I forgot how it started. And I think it's because, and that's not the game's fault. That's me playing it in short chunks over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So then I had to look it up, and I'm like, oh yeah. So the whole game starts with like Harry and his daughter, adopted daughter, driving, and then like if I'm not mistaken, they crash, don't they? There's like a little girl's out in the middle of the road and they crash. And find themselves in this town.
And crash.
And then
she's gone.
Right. And then as you're playing through the game, you're going to like demon Silent Hill to real Silent Hill, like back and forth. And there's this cop that cop, I remember her name, Sybil or something.
Sybil, yeah.
The most useless police officer I've ever seen. Yeah. Chief Wiggum would fire her. Like I
kind of feel
awful.
like all of the other characters just kind of get in the way, and like they seem to just be there to create the end game result of what story you get. Depending, like, did you do X, Y, and Z with these other characters? Well, that affects the end of the game. They don't really feel like they add a lot of depth to the story.
And I want to get to that because like, so basically, like you're in this town and you're trying to find your daughter, and the whole town is demons and shit, and then eventually, like you kind of get hints that like there was like some witch voodoo here.
Spooky stuff going on.
Yeah. And then at the very end of the game, at least in the bad ending that I got, everybody's dead.
Did you get bad or bad plus?
I think bad.
Did Harry die?
I don't know if he was dead or if he was asleep in his car.
Oh, he's dead.
Okay.
He's died.
Yeah, okay. He was in his car. That was the end of it.
So I think that's bad plus. I think that's the worst one you can get.
But this is one of my this is a minor criticism of the game. Really, my only major criticism is those fucking puzzles, which we'll get to. But, like, I was reading about all the other endings and stuff afterwards because there was the bad plus, bad, good plus, and then the funny alien one, which I love that they do that, by the way. I have no fucking clue what I had to do to get one of those good endings. Like, I read what I had to do, but I'm like, I don't ever remember there even being an opportunity to do that. But maybe being a product of 1999, they were like making you replay it multiple times and experiment and stuff will extend your play time.
Yeah, and I think the only reason I ended up with the bet like with Good Plus, and the only reason I knew that is because of years of like looking at walkthroughs and knowing like the one major thing that gets you the good endings is that the bottle to save Sybil, where you get a bottle. I think it's in the hospital. You get an empty water bottle out of the kitchen and you fill it with the red liquid.
I had that. I had that bottle.
Smashed. And so when you fight Sybil, when she turns evil at the carnival or whatever,
on the merry-go-round,
right next to her. Yeah, you get right in front of her. You just let her. You either walk up to her, let her walk up to you, and then you use the bottle on her, and it splashes on her, and it extracts the parasite that's inside her that was making her evil.
How?
And then the other thing is doing the Kaufman side quest. You got to find him and help him out.
I did find him, but then I'm not criticizing. Like I want to make sure I make this clear because I know Silent Hill fans are going to come after me if I like. I don't hate it, but I just like maybe I'm just not good at these games. I don't know how anybody would figure that out. Like
I know.
Like I fought her on the merry-go-round, and I never even thought to be like maybe this bottle of red fluid that I've had the whole game will save her.
And I think that's a product of playing through it multiple times, because you would have played it and then gone, well, I didn't have this bottle. Like this bottle didn't do anything. Like I wasn't able to use it at all. Like when my first time I completed the game, I got the same ending. It was the bad ending, not the bad plus. I was mistaken about that. Where Harry dies, where you don't help Kaufman and you kill Sybil, because that's what
happened. Yeah,
you just kill her. That's what I always thought too. I never. Had I not been, years later looking at walkthroughs and stuff in other playthroughs, I would have never known to even use that bottle anywhere.
No. And then Kaufman, I found him at one point, and then I never came across him again. And I feel like I didn't miss anything, And
did you at the motel? Did you see him there?
I don't remember. I talked to him once, and he talked about how the town is going crazy or something, and that's the only time I ever dealt with him.
So you have to run into him again at the it's a bar actually. It's not a motel. It's a bar. When you cross across Silent Hill, the bridge into the resort area or whatever they call it. It's got like the motel and there's a bar.
Yeah.
You have to go to the bar and there's a cut scene in there that triggers like an optional kind of side quest. You pick up some items that leads you on a chase around the small. Otherwise, there's nothing to do in that. Like you'll go to the motel, but you won't get into anything.
Fuck yeah! I even went to the motel, and I couldn't figure where the fuck I was doing there.
You have
was right there.
Seen him at the bar first, and then you go to I think a restaurant, and there's a bunch of clues that lead you to these different rooms and keys that unlock, and eventually that's how you get the good ending, because you have to find this little vial of I don't know, some kind of liquid. I can't remember what it's called, but he takes it from you. You find it inside a motorcycle for some reason. It's like the gas cap of a motorcycle. And he takes it and he's like, what are you doing? Quit fucking around. And then he shows up at the end of the game and splashes it on the incubator.
Oh, man. I gotta say, man, I'm conflicted. Okay, so part of me wishes that I had played this back in 99, 2000, because I feel like it would hit a little harder if I had experienced it in its era. But I gotta say too, if I had not had the internet, if I had tried to play this back in 1990, I didn't have the internet at home in 1999. It was grade 10. I didn't have the internet back then. I know it's gonna age me to some listeners, but not everybody had just a computer full of internet back then. Yeah. And if I had not been able to look shit up, If I had not been able to look shit up, I gotta say I would not have finished. I would have rage quit this game in 1999.
This feels like a product of one of those things where it's like you would have heard about the good ending from your friend's brother.
Yeah,
you'd have a friend with an older brother who's like, "Oh, this is how you got to do this," because he's played it and gotten all 5 endings because he found out about it somehow.
Totally, and
my first playthrough of this game, I didn't even finish it because I ended up in a situation where I had no pistol ammo, and I had a save spot where I would leave a building and I was constantly being chased by 2 flying monsters and 3 dogs, and I could just outrun them enough to get to the next place, but I didn't know where to go.
Right.
And I got to a point where I just didn't want to play it anymore because I was so afraid of running around in the town with these things chasing me with no way to fight them not knowing where to go. And I never was able to finish it the first time I played it.
I get that, dude. I forget these endings because I'll be honest. I can see how, if this was we always say this with these old games, but like this, if this was the game you had growing up and you played it over and over, I could see how you're right. I've got this bottle of fluid that I never found anything to do with it. I'm going to try it on everything. Because a lot of this game and a lot of the games from this era, Parasite Eve, Resident Eve, Dino Crisis, a lot of these games, a lot of it is just trial and error, like just tapping X everywhere you go and just trying different items at different times and seeing what works. And I get
it's apparent that they want you to play through multiple times because they reward you based on your first playthrough, and you can get those extra items and stuff when you play through again afterward.
Right. So I can get on board with. Because I was frustrated. I'll be honest. Like when I finished the game, like dude, when you have that final fight, and she's just like shooting lightning everywhere, and you don't even have to. You barely even move. Just kind of stand a little bit off to the side. You just
run around in a circle. You just hold square and the L or R1 and just run around in a circle in place, and it'll miss you every time.
Yeah,
and just pump rifle rounds into
it. You just pump her full of bullets, and then she dies, and then that was the end of the game. And I was like, what the fuck? That's it? And then thanks to playing Silent Hill 3, I knew there were all these other endings, and I looked them up, and I was like, oh, I see. I still wasn't sure how to get all that. That kind of stuff I can get past. But there's a couple of things in this game that like, and this is what I mean. If I had played this in 99 without the internet and stuff, I think I would have gotten stuck and I would have been like, I give up. I don't know what the fuck you want
100%.
me to do.
That's what happened to me the first time.
Exactly. And so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. We'll let a sponsor hopefully come in and say a couple of words. Because if I keep saving up my sponsor dollars, maybe I can buy a physical copy of Silent Hill one of these days. And then when we get back, I want to get into some of the bigger roadblocks I had over the endings. We'll be right back. Okay, so you and I were just talking about how there's a couple of roadblocks. I got to say, dude, right off the top, in that very first part of the game, when you're running around downtown and you find I wasn't sure where to go. I had to get to the school, and everywhere is a dead end. Everywhere. And people on my stream are trying to help me, and I'm like, no, I want to figure it out on my own. Finally, I just happened to come across the broken road with the papers laying there. But you never would find those unless like you just happen to go up to it the right way.
Yeah, you literally just have to explore everything and keep utilizing the map and kind of realizing where you can and can't go.
Yeah, and I don't know about you. I'm curious what you think, because like that didn't make me angry per se, but I did find it frustrating that like that's what you need me to do, and the only way, there are no hints on the map telling you this is where these papers are or anything. You basically just run around like an idiot until you happen to go to the right place and find it.
Don't they circle like this is where you have to go on the map? I know they did it for a few places like the hospital. And
they
I
did.
can't remember if the school does that.
Yeah, they did, but they circled the fucking school, and then every road to the school was blocked.
Right. And you just have to keep checking alleys and finding.
Yeah. And then eventually you find a paper that says to go to the house with the doghouse.
Oh, to go to the doghouse. Yes,
and then it has the door with the 3 locks on it.
Right.
And there weren't too many other instances where I found that to be an issue. But if I had rented this for a weekend, I might have quit right there. I might have been like, I don't get what the fuck you want me to do.
Yeah, and this is pretty much where I ended up getting stuck the first time I played it when I was young, was just not knowing where to go. I think it was probably after the school, kind of the second time you get into Silent Hill, and just like not having any ammo and running around and just dogs constantly chasing me, flying monsters, and going like, I don't know what to do. I'm panicking. I'm just running and just weaving in and out of these massive streets, trying to avoid these things, but they're constantly behind me. And I ended up getting too scared where I was just like, I can't handle the anxiety of this game. and I put it down for years before I played it again.
And it does the same fucking thing Silent Hill 3 did, Locked Door Simulator. And there are instances where you're just running around this. What's that?
It's not going to get better when you get to 2. I know I've made this comment before, but I can't wait for you to play 2.
Fuck, it just drives me insane. I don't know why people aren't more irritated by this. Running around this game, just trying to open doors, hoping you find one that fucking opens. I will never, you and I got into this about it with Silent Hill 3 as well. I will never understand the appeal of the nonstop trying to open locked doors. I will never get it. It makes me crazy.
One thing to kind of to the credit of that style is, later on in the game, when it kind of gets like scarier and you're in the hospital and then you're in the like the crazier Silent Hill otherworld kind of environment, you almost don't want there to be any other way to go. Like you're checking doors, but you're going like, I hope nothing's in. Like I hope I can just like, these are all locked. I can just go to the next thing.
You're
like,
right. Yeah.
in
you're
a
right.
sense, I was like relieved to be like, okay, it's annoying to check these doors, but I'm happy there isn't more stuff going on here.
Yeah,
Because it's all
I'll
usually all
concede
there.
that. Yeah, I'll concede that. It got to the point where I was like, dude, near the end when you're in like the haunted hospital and it's fucked, and you're just like, for the love of
Yeah.
Christ, don't open, please.
Yeah, most of these are locked, and I'm happy about it.
Yeah, agree. I'll concede that 100%. The other big roadblock and I promise, like, I want to talk about some more good stuff too. I'm not just gonna shit on it, but like the other thing about this game that I really got frustrated by were some of these puzzles, man. What?
Oh, yeah.
Who? The piano puzzle?
Yep.
Everybody knows what I'm talking about. The door puzzle with the 8 colored blocks.
Yep.
And fuck, what's the third one?
The astrology puzzle.
Yes, the astrology puzzle. I love doing escape rooms, okay? And I love puzzles. And I'm the guy that's like, I don't give a shit if we ever leave the first room of this escape room. I hate asking for a hint. I will if the team wants to, but I hate it. I had to look up at least hints for all 3 of those puzzles, and all 3 of them aggravated me because it wasn't, I looked up the hint and I was like, I can't believe I didn't figure that out. It was like I never would have figured that out.
I don't know poetry well enough to understand what this bird thing is about.
Oh my God. Like, I see how you could solve these puzzles. I never would have.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just dumb. I don't know.
I looked at walkthroughs for the puzzles as well this time around. And I remember the one I was reading about the astrology one, and the opening sentence was, for those of you familiar with astrology, this will be simple. And I was like, so what about the rest of us fucking idiots?
Yeah,
that
that's
don't
exactly.
know anything about this?
That was the same walkthrough I looked up, and they were, and then they told you the solution, but they never told you how they got it.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so I guess, yeah.
But then someone in my chat pointed out that it was like the number of limbs. And it was.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, for fuck's sakes. Like, but I never would have thought that because I'm looking at all these symbols and I know some of these are zodiac signs and I'm like, or whatever the fuck. And I'm like, there must be a clever way to solve this.
Yeah.
Fuck me, dude. The
only
puzzles.
one I liked was the 2 paintings with the camera, and then they just show the shapes you have to make, and I'm like, I'm a genius, I can do that.
Me too. I solved that one, and I was like, I swear to God, they put that here just to make me feel better about myself.
And it's like it's a late puzzle too. It's like, what?
They're like, if you've made it this far, you've probably used the walkthrough a couple of times. Now we'll help you. And let me say for the record that, like, because I generally prefer Resident Evil to Silent Hill. I just do. I like the zombies better. I like the action better. Mm-hmm. But I'm 2 for 2 on Silent Hill games. I haven't hated either one. I like puzzles, and I like the way Silent Hill leans into they break up the tension with puzzles. And I like that. But I'm like, dude, these puzzles are like if I played it on easy mode, would they have been easier puzzles? Because these puzzles are fucked. Oh my God. I've been waiting like a week to rant about these fucking puzzles. And I'm so glad that you got stuck on them too. At least that makes me feel a little better.
I'm not 100% certain. It's been a while since I played it, but I feel like 2 does the best version of these puzzles where they're not incredibly difficult. Okay. But they still are a little bit challenging. But at least they kind of make sense.
Sure.
From what I might be wrong when we go to talk about it and I play through it and go, I was way wrong about this. But that's kind of what I think is so good about that one is they take that and they make a little bit more sense in the context of what you're doing, I think.
Okay. Because I criticize me if you want, write in and call me dumb. I don't care. I could not for the life of me figure out some of these puzzles. And I was getting so frustrated with them because that was I love puzzles. That was that should have been my favorite part of the game. And it ended up being my least favorite part because I got stuck on all of them. Yeah. And I got so fucking angry. Fuck me. But you brought this up and I wanted to circle back to this. The cool thing about the puzzles is at least I wasn't running around with my ass cheeks clenched like I was when I was outside. Because, dude, I'll give it credit. I didn't find it as scary today as I probably would have 25 years ago, but there are moments. It's got that classic static, right, where you turn your radio on and you're running around outside, and there are moments where it is a creepy fucking game. I found the hospital the creepiest because I find hospitals creepy to begin with. Yeah. But even outside, like you said, these giant open areas, and it was remarkable when it would go from daytime with the fog to nighttime, how not scary daytime with the fog felt.
Right.
Once you got out of the nighttime.
what they did really well in this game is the sound design and the music, and they pulled this trick a lot where they introduced the static of the monsters and kind of like the kind of anxiety driving music of the fights and stuff when you encounter enemies, but then they'll do that in certain rooms where you'll enter a room and it'll just be like the courtyard of the school with the tower, the clock tower. It's constantly playing like some kind of music that you're like, is something here? And it changes everything when you put the silver and the gold plate in. The music changes and it's this like high anxiety kind of pulsing sound design, soundscape. And you're like, is something in here? Like, I don't know. And you get freaked out just being in some of these areas where like certain rooms, you'll just open a door and there'll be like just some heart pounding music playing. And you're like, something, like you're standing with your gun ready, waiting for something to come at you and nothing's there. And it's just certain rooms where they'll do like the exploding light bulbs or the banging on the door when you enter or go to leave a room kind of thing. So there's still some really good, like scary design sound wise.
Yeah, agreed 100%. And I will give it all the credit in the world. There were numerous instances where I'd be in a room, I'd come into a room, and then I'd hear a bang or something, and I would explore.
They paced those jump scares really well.
Because it didn't overdo them. It didn't rely on them.
You started feeling comfortable. You're like, I'm getting good at shooting or fighting, and like I'm handling these enemies really well. And then you just go in a room and there's nothing, and you turn around to go out, and it like sounds like the glass is breaking in the room, and you're like, what the fuck?
And to me, the most brilliant part of that is there is no enemy.
Yeah.
Nothing ever shows up. It's just fucking with you. And I thought that was spectacular. Like, so well done.
They do the same thing with those little shadow children things as well. Those things are frightening, where you think they're enemies because they play the same static as an enemy, but it's these little shadow things that are squeaking like rubber ducks and just disappear. And then the worst trick they play on you is later in the game, they start being real enemies. And you're like, I've gone the whole game ignoring these things. Yeah. And now they attack me.
That little squeak they make terrifies the fuck out of me. That is the scariest noise in the game. That little fucking squeak. Oh my God. I thought that was really, really well done and fucking terrifying. My God. That was to me the scariest part was that. And that courtyard. You're right. That dude, the first time. So like you get into the school for the first time and you're exploring, and one of my favorite things Silent Hill does is when you find a map, every time you try a door, he makes his little notes and stuff. I love that. I love it. And the only place I had left to go at one point was the courtyard. And I had opened it and been like, nope, fucking turned around and gone right back in. And then I was like, I actually was like stuck for a good like 10 minutes. And then I realized that like, oh, right, I had gone. I had gone to the courtyard and turned around and left again. So I was like, I guess now I have to go out here. And then there wasn't even anything out there that was that scary. It was just, the way it was
I think
designed.
you fight one of the little children, I think, at one time.
Yeah. But
or something that's out there once, and there's never another enemy after that.
Oh, it's so well done. And that's where, like, as we're shifting into the positives now, like, I credit given where it is due, man. Like, if this game came out today, sure, it'd be criticized for the controls and all that kind of stuff, but I think it'd be kind of neat that this came out 24 years ago. Like, that's why I can't bring myself to really give it a bad score, because I have way, way, way too much respect for what this game did for the genre when it came out. Yeah. I've never played anything. I don't know if I've played anything like this now, except Silent Hill 3. If I played this when it came out, I certainly would have never played anything like it back then.
Yeah. And that's what's, part of its legacy is like, this is what makes the PlayStation such a great system, is like you have games like this and like the plethora of like other horror games like Nightmare Creatures and Clock Tower and like Resident Evil. Like it kind of fits in. Like, if this is the genre of games you like this is just an excellent kind of change of pace from all those other games that still offers you like a scary experience and a psychological horror kind of experience that fits between. It's not a game where you're constantly running and hiding. It's not a game where you're constantly shooting and fighting. It's kind of a mixture of the both.
Totally. And that's where, like, not to circle back on it again, but that's where I feel the need to defend the tank controls. I just think they work so well in a game like this.
Find, like I said, like when I started, I was like, okay, like I'm running into walls and I'm doing dumb stuff and camera changes. I'm running and then I'm flipping backwards when the camera changes and stuff. But then after a while, you master it and you get back in that groove. And especially like you said, you playing, and I played over like a few days, kind of spread out between almost a week at one point, and I would get back into it going like, I'm going to have to, remember what I'm doing, where I am. And I just jumped right back into it and I keep playing. And by the end of it, I'm like, I want to keep playing something like this.
Totally. And it legitimately just adds to that tension. Like if you were in the school with these little demon kids following you around, or you're in the hospital with the creepy nurses, or even outside in the street with those fucking zombie dog thingies following you around, like if you had the ability to like full on sprint and climb on stuff and turn around and like snipe and shit, like to me, like it clearly. Sometimes we use the analogy of like the game development is a pie, and they have to divide up the pie amongst all the like the sound and the controls and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like clearly, combat was not a big slice of the pie. And
what's scary about it is you have to square up to everything. Like you can't just like run, quick turn, and you have to literally, especially in those early parts where you're relying heavily on that pipe.
Yeah.
Or any of the melee weapons, you got to square up to these dogs and time it so that, when they jump at you, you're smashing them out of the air, stomping them on the ground.
Totally. And I think that so I ended up, I found myself, at least for the first like 3/4 of the game, I ran 99% of the time. And then near the end in the hospital, I started using up all my ammo against all those nurses, because I got stuck in that. Yeah. Dude, in that final hospital where it's like basically going to every room in this hospital until you find a key, and then go back to every room until you can figure out what door that key was for. And
the one door that warps you back to the first floor.
Yeah. And it finally got to the point where I was like, I'm gonna have to fight some of these nurses, because we're not outside in the wide open like the mean streets of Silent Hill. Like we're in these narrow little hallways now, and I can't get past it.
The later hospital near the end, where you're in like the other world kind of Silent Hill, and it's not the hospital floors. It's those like red metal, and there's only 2 of them on either side. You really can't run past them in those areas.
And so that was when I started cashing in all my bullets. But I liked playing 3/4 of the game not fighting anybody. I thought it really, because like you're just a normal guy. You're supposed to just be this normal dude. Yeah. And I really thought that added to it. I really.
Yeah, they really do a good job of making you feel like the character.
Yeah.
Especially what you mentioned with the the writing of the map. That's a very interactive aspect that I always enjoy at Silent Hill, is you constantly pulling up that map going, okay, like, am I heading in the right direction? Have I checked all these rooms? And you're crossing them off, and you really feel like I'm doing this. I'm the one exploring. I'm in the shoes of this character doing this. Yeah. And that he's not like very proficient with anything. Like anybody could swing an axe or a pipe at something and try to kill it. He doesn't do it particularly fast or well, but you can kind of get the timing of everything and just kind of slog through it, or you can just run past and kind of avoid things.
Totally. I think a big part of what makes this game and Silent Hill as scary as they are is the fact that like you're not like, listen, Resident Evil 4 is one of my favorite games of all time. I know you love that game too, but like you never feel helpless playing as Leon. Like you can feel outnumbered.
You get overwhelmed at times. Exactly. Yeah.
But you're like, this guy is a world-class assassin type secret agent, right? Whereas I'm like, Harry does my taxes. Like this guy, this guy has no fucking powers at all. And I think
Harry's a divorced man with a found child.
Yeah. And he's clearly not a very good father, because he lost his kid in this fucking town. But like, if he had all these abilities, it really would take away from the scare. So I thoroughly enjoyed all of that. I also want to say too, I love the cheesy voice acting. I know some will criticize it, but you can never have enough fromage on voice acting in my books. And
I didn't find it that bad.
I thought there were some scenes where he's like talking to people. There's one scene, I don't remember who he's talking to, but he's like, I'm not joking around. I want my daughter. And it was like, most people would be like, I'm done fucking around. Where the fuck is my kid? And Harry, it's like he's like, I asked for Diet Coke. This is regular.
Right. This is a mild inconvenience.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, your adopted kid is missing in this town full of zombie dogs. Freak out a little bit.
I found the worst voice actor was the interactions with Kaufman. And if you do the side quest, you interact with him a lot more. And that was kind of like okay, this is really bad. But the best one was the nurse, Lisa.
She was great.
She was the best, but I felt like she was the most useless character. Where I was like, what is she doing here? Like,
Yeah,
why is this
agreed.
person here?
I got the again, I might have misunderstood this plot. But I got the impression that the main reason she was there was as a way to just explain to you what went on in this hospital.
Pretty much,
they were basically doing this weird
the fact
witchery.
She can't leave.
Yeah.
There's this duality where she's like, Harry's like, come with me to this thing. She's like, no.
Yeah.
Okay, just stay here, I guess.
You're right, because the cop was an idiot, and Harry wasn't that scary or that scared of anything apparently, and the what was her name? The crazy witchcraft lady,
Dahlia.
Yeah, she was okay, but I thought she was cliche as fuck. You know what I the
crazy cult lady.
Yeah. She's gonna throw cats at you any second now. But you're right. I thought the nurse, I thought the voice actress was actually really good, and she seemed dialed in. But then it was you don't really need to be here outside of kind of pushing the story along. Yeah. I agree with that. But I loved it. I'm all about my cheesy voice acting, and I thought it was cheesy, and I enjoyed the shit out of it. Also, dude, shout out to the fact that you can't fall off ledges in this one.
Yeah.
Because in Silent Hill 3, I'm positive you used to fall off ledges all the fucking time.
I believe so, yeah.
Made me crazy.
You get a warning. Yeah, you can kind of teeter on the edge, and then you can fall if you keep pushing it. This one, you can just you can hover along the edges of things and really scope everything out to make sure you're exploring everything.
Yeah, he will not fall. Yeah, I liked it. Gosh, I mean, I feel like we're fuck. Every time I end an episode, somebody's like, "You forgot to talk about this part of the game that I like." Is there anything we've missed that you can think of? I feel like we've touched on at least most of the basics.
I really like the sewer levels. We didn't talk about.
Oh
those.
yeah.
The weird sewer monster mantis kind of creatures. Those were cool because they introduced them to you, and they're a bit stronger when you see them, but then when you are there later or longer, they start coming down from the ceiling, and as you run past them, they keep following you, and they'll keep trying to dive at you, and that was pretty cool. That was done really well.
Dude,
I like that.
Agreed. The first time one of those things fell off the roof on me, it scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Because I was used to fighting them on the ground, and I was like, "Where in the fuck is it?" And then it drops down and hurts me.
Just drops down and grabs you.
Scared the piss out of me.
Yeah.
I actually too. I wanted. Sorry, just when we're talking about shit that was scary. I know you don't spend a lot of time there, but the fucking amusement park, that place is scary as fuck too. I don't know. Maybe
I felt underwhelmed
because
of how much the third one utilizes it.
Totally.
So I was kind of like, this is. I mean, this. If you played it in the reverse order and gone 1 to 3, you go, awesome! They've expanded on this carnival area, but amusement park. But this, I felt it was underutilized. You pretty much just run around and then find the thing and fight Sybil, and it was that was it.
Yeah, I would have liked to have spent more time there, even though it was creepy.
Yeah.
I feel like there was too much time spent in the hospital, which was also creepy. Not quite enough time spent in the amusement.
You could have cut down time checking locked doors. And you could have given me more.
Could have eliminated 20 doors.
Open.
Yeah.
You could have given me more out in the open enemy, because that part's scary because it seems to go on forever, wherever you go, and it's pretty linear because you can only go one way. Everything starts to get cut off. But the game really excels at that. You don't know what's out there. You keep hearing the radio, kind of go off to the left. You go if I'm going to go that way, there's an enemy. Go this way, and you can kind of hear another one pop up, and you're navigating through the fear of the unknown kind of thing.
Totally.
And that's where the game really excels.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I a couple minor things too. I forgot to bring up. I just made notes here that I wanted to. Minor complaints. Number one, I hate that maps are missable. I missed one when I came out of the mall. Which, by the way, when I went to the mall where the 2 escalators are, I was like, "Holy fuck, is this the mall from Silent Hill 3?" And people in the chat were like, "Oh," and I was like, "Wow," because I did started to see the connections. Yeah. But I missed a map there somewhere, and I don't know where. And so when I came out to the mean streets of Silent Hill, but in the dark version, I was just running around like a donkey because I had no map and I didn't know where to go. And someone in the chat was like, "You missed the map," and I was like, "If you dude, these maps this I'm not gonna say this game is unplayable without a map, but I'm telling you right now, if you've never tried to play without a map on your first run, it can get incredibly frustrating and a lot less fun really fast.
There is parts in the game where you just don't have a map too. I
Yeah.
don't remember.
Somebody said I missed one. I don't know. I looked everywhere and I couldn't find one.
Yeah, I don't remember there being one for that area, because that's right when you fight the moth or the worm, right?
Yeah, you come out from
Big,
fighting the worm or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's literally only one spot. You go up the escalator, you go into the one door, into the other, the jewelry store, and then you try to go to the enemy and you fall through the floor and it starts that fight. So I don't know if there even is a map.
I don't know. If there's not, there fucking should have been. Because I ran around like an idiot for half an hour trying to figure where the fuck to go in the dark.
I could be wrong, but I don't remember. I know there's a few spots where they just don't give you a map.
Okay. Well, then maybe I didn't miss one. Maybe there just wasn't one there. Because I was getting pretty pissed off. I was like, where the fuck do I have to go? It all looks the same because it's all dark. Ah, fuck me. I
felt like that part was really linear. Like you can go kind of around, but you just go up the escalator, and then there's like a few doors. Everything's locked except I think two doors.
No, not in the mall. It was after that, like when I got back outside, and I think I had to make my way back to the hospital, and I could not find the hospital, and I was in the nighttime, the dark world, and I could not find the hospital.
Yeah.
Fuck
That's
me.
Weird.
Fuck, I was mad. The other thing I wanted to complain about, and I will not move off. I bet I'm taking a point off the game for this. Near the end, you're in that hospital, I think, and there's a fridge with like a sword in it and a chain.
Yeah.
And if you
take the dagger in it, and the thing kills
bullshit. If you take the dagger out without using a bracelet on the fucking chain to seal it, this creature just kills you. And I died and lost like a whole bunch of progress. I was fucking hot.
That's I love that though. That's excellent stuff, because it's like a thing that they haven't done, they don't do, and they literally just do it one time.
You know what? If there had been a notepad to save right outside of that room, I wouldn't be mad at all. But I didn't get a notepad. I didn't use the notepad for like 30 minutes.
Sure.
And then this fucking thing killed me. And of course you're going to take the fucking you see a broken chain and you see a sword. Of course you're going to take it.
They bait you that way, that they go, oh, the chain's broken here. Do you want to take this knife?
Oh, I was fucking hot.
I do.
When it killed me, I rage quit my stream. I was like, I need a break. What in the fuck was that?
Because it doesn't kill you till you try to leave the room, right?
Yeah.
Or does it kill you?
No,
right
I don't
away?
remember. It doesn't. I don't know. I
think it's when you turn to go out, because when you put the bracelet on, it doesn't trigger until you try to leave, and it bangs on on the thing. So I don't think it kills you right away.
And then and the worst part was like, so if you've never played it, it's a fridge with like two chains hanging off it, and the chain looks like it's broken. You would never, if you'd never played that game before, you would never think to use a bracelet to latch that chain. Right. You know, like if you had a lock in your inventory,
sure,
maybe. But a
like
bracelet?
The bracelet makes sense if they've given you the option to think about it, but they present it like, oh, this chain is hanging, and then it's immediately, do you want to take this knife? And you're like, yeah, I want to take this knife. You don't get the chance to go, let me look through my inventory and see, maybe I got something for this.
I was fucking pissed. So I'm glad I got a chance to rant about that, because that was bullshit. Fuck you, fridge monster. I hope you're still in there.
I think I know exactly where you missed the map now that I'm thinking about it. It's on the little board as you come out, because after you beat that worm, you go, isn't there like a little destroyed kind of building, I think?
I don't remember. Yeah, there
might
have been.
A little concrete structure, and then I think you go onto the street and there's like a little community board, and that's where the map is. So I know exactly where you missed it.
That frustrates me. Like, I understand that like you need. I'm fine with having to find the map, but like,
sure. I mean, they kind of served it up for you there.
I know, and I know I missed it, but like, if you've never played the game before, and it doesn't matter if it's the daytime or the nighttime, because in the nighttime you can't see, and in the daytime the fog makes it so you can't see. If you don't know the area, you'd be fucked really fast without that map, and you're just running around like an idiot. And then I can't figure out even how to go back to the map. I was mad.
Did you ever? Because there's like a mechanic in the game of like shutting off your flashlight to stop enemies from coming at you. Did you ever utilize that at all?
I didn't realize I could turn the flashlight off until right near the end of the game. And then I was stuck.
Okay.
Yeah, I was stuck on something, and so I was just mashing buttons to see if I could get something to happen. And then I think it was like circle turned my light off, and I was like, oh fuck. So.
I was just curious based on your ability to find maps about maybe you didn't.
No shit. No, I wish I had known that earlier, but no, I didn't realize that. But I never found this. The enemies went from like awesome to like a minor hindrance. Like I never found them to be anywhere close to like taking away from my enjoyment of the game.
Right. I think the only place it really helps is like when you're in the hospital with the nurses, if you're trying to like sneak up on them to do melee stuff.
Yeah.
That makes it a little easier.
But
it's so frightening to walk towards stuff in the darkness.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And especially when you can hear that static from your fucking radio.
Yeah.
Which is still like I think the radio static mechanic is the single greatest aspect of Silent Hill.
Yeah.
I just think that is such a brilliant system. And I assume that it's in Silent Hill 2.
Absolutely.
And I can't wait to hear how they implement it with like a new PS5 version where they could do a little bit more like surround sound with it and stuff. Like,
do the PS5 controllers have like a speaker in them or anything?
Yeah, they do.
So that'd be really cool.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, you're right. Maybe it'll talk out of the speaker.
Coming on the speaker, that'd be wicked.
Yeah, that's sick. It's gonna be cool, man. I'm almost worried it's gonna be too much for me. Like, I'll be honest with you, dude. Like, I didn't find this game brutally scary. There were a few moments when they made the weird sounds and shit that scared me, but fuck that courtyard. But to play this, like, I just played the Dead Space remake. It was awesome. I played Resident Evil 4 remake. It was awesome. I feel like this one in that new remake with the new graphics, everything would push the envelope for being too much for me.
Yeah, especially with like the really extreme like darkness aspect of like using the flashlight, and if you're including like the over the shoulder kind of aiming at body parts aspect of it with the creature design of Silent Hill. Because one thing I always find about these early games is if you look at the artwork for these monsters, they look fantastic, but then in game they're just kind of blocky, like weird things.
Totally. Yeah.
Like especially like those monkey people that you see later on. Like, human. I'm like, they just look foolish and they sound weird. But I'm sure the artwork for them looks like horrifying.
100%. Yeah.
And so if you had that like visual aspect to it, I think would be really cool.
Yeah, and I like when I say that it's gonna be too scary, like that is not a criticism. That's just I'm a pussy, and some things are just too much for me. I feel like these might be. Like I think I like Resident Evil a little bit better, but I think Silent Hill does the concept of horror and being scary better than Resident Evil does. And it would be really, really, like, I'm really, even if I don't play it, if I decide it's going to be too much and I don't play it, I'm really excited for Silent Hill fans and for Silent Hill 2 Remake. And I really hope it's everything that, like, Resident Evil 2 Remake was for Resident Evil fans.
It would be nice. It would be nice for the fans in the community to get, like, a win on that. That would be great.
Yeah. Because I see it.
Especially because they tried a lot. Like, especially, I think what might have really hurt the franchise was like the two movies. Like the first movie, I thought was really good. It felt like it was done with a lot of fan service. And then that second movie was not very good.
Okay.
And I think that it kind of suffered like the Batman treatment, where it was just there was too much coming out media that didn't do good, and then nobody wants to take a chance on it.
Sure. Yeah. No, it's I find it odd. Like, I mean, I guess the obvious answer is that it's fucking Konami, and I don't know what the fuck Konami's doing anymore. I don't know what the fuck's up with that
Silent
studio.
Hill 4.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we can blame Silent Hill 4. Because I don't understand. Like, again, I've only got 2 games of experience with it, but I'm like, they both seem like good games. I don't understand where this franchise went.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, it has some weird, like, it's got a little bit of dirt on it later on. It's just kind of tainted with what they try to do with it, I feel like. And I feel like there's some good stuff later on, but I don't know, it just feels like nothing lives up to the peak of like 2 and 3. Like it's like 1, 2, 3, it's really good, and then it just kind of seems to peter off a bit. And then the movies, and I think it's just one of those things that they just try to do too much with the franchise that didn't ever kind of bring it back. And a remake, it would be the perfect thing to like really bring it back and make something scary. And then they can go, hey, we're going to redo 1 or we're going to redo 3. And,
sure.
You know,
cause that's the other thing too. Like just thinking about it is like a lot of like, I've never played the original version of Silent Hill 3. I only played the HD collection version, and I thought it was fine, but I had no original experience to compare it to. I know a lot of people hate the Silent Hill HD collection. And so it's like, you have this movie that people apparently didn't like. You have Silent Hill 4 that apparently some people didn't like. And then I remember the PT demo that everybody loved, and then it died.
Yeah. And I think that's part of it is like, there's that. Like, we all thought that was going to be really great, and then that gets canceled. And
it's just weird because, like, Resident Evil has had some missteps, but it keeps coming back. And I would argue that like it's his. I mean, dude, I think the 3 best Resident Evil games ever made are 7, 2 remake, and 4 remake. And those are 3 of like the last 4 games to come out, or 4 or 5. Like they're back in a big way, and with technology and with the advancements in consoles, like to me, the horror genre should be bigger than ever.
Where they reinvented Resident Evil, because I mean that doesn't happen unless you change how Resident Evil's played, right? With Resident Evil 4, it was a game changer, right?
Yeah.
I don't feel like Silent Hill ever really did that. The biggest thing they did with I think it's Shattered Memories, the remake of 1, was for the Wii. They did and then they did PSP and PlayStation 2 ports. There's these combat. Oh no, I think I'm thinking of a different one. One of them, you have these non-combat situations where you just have to keep running, and it's awful. Like it's scary, but there's no way to fight anything. You're just constantly running and navigating and making these quick choices. And that really detracted from the game. I felt like. I think is that Shattered Memories? I think it's Shattered Memories. I like and so like where they could have been reinventing, they went a weird way with it, and it just I don't know. I'd like to revisit Silent Hill Origins, because I think that one might have been good, but I haven't played it since it came out.
I just like I'm a huge I've been begging for a new F-Zero for like 30 years. And people that listen to the show know that. Punch-Out as well. So, like, I get it. I get Silent Hill fans that feel like they've just been forgotten about forever. And I'm really just 2 games in. I'm like, where the fuck did this franchise go? These are fine.
Yeah.
I'm really shocked. And I gotta, like, we're going to wrap this show up. We're just rambling now. But let me just say, like, I just want, whether I decide to play Silent Hill 2 Remake, first of all, I want you all to know, I promise, I don't know when, but before this show is done, I promise I will review Silent Hill 2. I promise. Patrick, you're probably going to get tagged for that.
I'll put it on everyone else. Like if people want it, I mean, they got to vote for it, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Let's make it happen.
It's Devil May Cry
let's
1.
make the campaign
Fair and square.
We got to Metal Gear Solid 3, right?
Oh fuck. No, never. Those
if
words.
We can get there.
Metal Gear Solid is not to be said on this show, sir.
The community made that happen. If they can make that happen, we can make Silent Hill 2 happen.
It will happen, I promise. But I just want to say that, like, there is every chance Silent Hill 2 is too scary for me. I'm just saying that. And if it is, that's fine. Maybe I don't play it. But I just want you all to know that, like, I'm pulling for all of you Silent Hill 2 fans. All you Silent Hill fans. I'm pulling for you.
Somehow, like, Silent Hill 4 beat 2, and you had to play that instead.
Yeah, just never play 2. I love it. Okay, we got to score this thing. I don't have any ideas. I'm just looking. Do you have any ideas on a scoring system before I come up with something out of my ass? I'm just looking. Otherwise, if we're going to go with something lame, we're going to go with like... oh, you know what? Okay, how many years has it been since the Silent Hill game came out? According to the Wikipedia page, PT was considered a Silent Hill game. The demo.
Was it ever a full game?
It was just the demo. The demo.
Okay.
But we're going to count that because they're counting it on the Wikipedia page, and I trust Wikipedia. So that was 2014, and now it's 2023. So we'll go out of 9. 9 years since your franchise was acknowledged. And don't come at me with Silent Hill Ascension. I see it here on the list. I don't even know what the fuck this is. Doesn't count. We're going 9. Leave my scale alone. Out of 9, Patrick, what would you score the original PS1 Silent Hill?
I would say, I want to say 8, but I think I say 7.5.
All right.
No, I don't know. I'm gonna say 8. It's still a good game. Like, playing through it was still great, and it's one of those things that, like, on original hardware with nothing else, no internet, nothing, like, it's a great game to be in that environment and in that atmosphere. And it's still, like, I found playing through it this time and knowing, like, a lot of what happens and knowing the overall kind of story and arc and everything and all the places I'm going to go to and what to expect, I still found myself, like, scared while playing it in places. And that, to me, is like the sign of something that's held up over time. Like, graphics and everything aside, like, it's still it's a game that defines the genre, and without it, I don't think there's a lot of stuff that we love, and I think it deserves an 8.
All right, yeah, no, sound logic. I'll be honest, like I'm not docking it any points for not experiencing it in its prime, even though I do think it was better experience back then. I'm not gonna dock it points for that. I'm gonna give it like a. Yeah, I'm gonna give it like a 7. I liked it. I'm telling you right now, I don't give a fuck. That instant death out of the fridge is losing it a point. That was garbage. Go fuck yourself. I don't care.
I think honestly, when we talked the other day about it and I was wrapping it up, at that point I would have done 7. And then as we talked about it and getting to talk to somebody about it, it kind of boosted like my love for it, going back to, you know, when I first played it and how scared I was. And,
Sure.
you know, and just kind of reminiscing about the whole franchise as a whole, I think it's just kind of, I enjoy it.
Yeah, no, I have a lot of respect for it. Like, I'll be honest, I don't know, not like, if I'm speaking completely from a personal perspective, like, not my favorite game. Like, I'll probably never play it again. It was good. It was fine. But I have so much respect for what this game did for the genre. And as much as I'm a big Resident Evil fan, I'm like, this does some stuff that I would love to see Resident Evil do more of.
Yeah, I mean, if like it goes hand in hand, right? It's like if you're a person that likes these kinds of games, it's like an absolute you have to play the series.
Sure. I'm dude. That's another thing I have to say is like I am shocked that this game is not available anywhere. Like at least listen. I know people hate the HD collection, but at least if you want to play 2 and 3, you can buy them. Like at least there's a way to like. This is not on PS Plus. This isn't on PSN. It's not on Xbox. Like, it's not on Steam. Weird. It's dead, and I'm shocked because this is like.
It feels like a legacy collection type thing, right? It feels like at least all the first 4 should be available in a collection somewhere.
Totally. Like I know the Hall of Fame has become a bit of a joke around Remember the Game with Mark and everything, but like I genuinely feel like Silent Hill is a Hall of Fame video game for what it has done for this genre. It's just like the original Metal Gear Solid. Like they belong in a Hall of Fame.
It's a genre-defying franchise.
And it's just
and
dead.
It definitely has a legacy and a place in these types of games.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is. It's disappointing that like it doesn't get much better, you know, after 4. I feel like I'm going to have to revisit some of these, but it is disappointing. But in the same sense, it's like, well, you have the ones you love, you know, like
totally, yeah.
2 and 3, you know, you can play through them and they still exist, and it doesn't take away from those games that it hasn't had a revitalization. There's always going to be those great games.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope we did this justice, and if we missed anything, I apologize, but I want you to know that, like, to all you Silent Hill fans out there, I see you. I respect. I have a lot of respect for your game.
Happen.
It's not. Yeah, eventually Silent Hill 2 will happen, and we'll go from there. Patrick, we got an hour and 5. I thought this would be like a 45-minute podcast. An hour and 5 minutes.
Yeah, let's bang it out.
Yeah, no shit. Patrick, you stay busy. You do the old creating and everything. What are you up to, and where can people find your stuff?
Yeah, mostly just on Instagram. I make music as Burger Finger. I'm also in a hip hop duo called Discount Lion Safari.
The best name.
Working on music, playing shows, so you can find all that stuff over there.
Hell yeah. And there'll be links to it in the description of this podcast as well. So cool. Check that out there. And buddy, good talking to you. And I don't know. I guarantee you, the next time you're on the show, it's either going to be Silent Hill 2 or a Game Boy game. I guarantee it. I just don't know which one yet. But
I want to live my life.
Yeah, fucking A. Good talking to you, man. That was fun. That's going to do it for this week's episode. Patrick, thank you so much for giving me a call and talking Silent Hill, and to every single one of you nerds listening to this. Whether this was your first Remember the Game or maybe your 264th, thank you so much for giving us a chance. For real, like there's so many retro gaming shows out there, and that you decided to give us a shot warms my heart. Thank you. I appreciate it very much. If you like this show, leave us a good review, would you? I'm not sure what they accomplish, but I know all the other shows ask for them, so I'm going to do the same, and they make me feel good when I'm sitting here laying in the bubble bath, spending a little time with me, myself, and I read your nice reviews, and yeah, they're good. And if you want more of these, there are more. There are hundreds more. Patreon.com/rememberthegame. Start at $3 a month. all ad-free right there on your phone. You can finally listen on fucking Spotify, which is dope. Hit up rememberthegamepodcast.com. You'll find a link to our Spotify Patreon feed. You can scroll through the entire catalog and see what's in there if you want. We drop up to 4 additional shows per week. It's fucking good times. On that note, I'll be back tomorrow for all our Patreons with my Sea of Stars spoiler-free review. Really looking forward to that. Game Patch on Friday, and then another slab of podcasts next week. I'm on Twitch. If you want to come by and say hi, twitch.tv/rememberthegame, that would be really neat whenever I get on there. And check out Patrick's music and stuff. You can find the links in the description of this show. Patrick's a good dude, very creative, and tell him I sent you. That'd be really neat. I think that's good. That's enough plugs. That's enough this episode. That'll do. I'm going to thank some patrons and get out of here. I will be back tomorrow with my Sea of Stars review for all of our patrons. Have a great day. Thanks, or great night, great morning, whatever time it is, wherever you is. Thanks for listening, and I will talk to you next week for Remember the Game 265, which will be Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles, whatever. You know, the combo, the lock-on technology revisited. It's going to be a good time. All right? Take it easy, everybody. Cheers, so long, goodbye. Remember the Game is brought to you by our Patreons. I could not puke up all the content I churn out every week without all of your support. The following people are at the senior executive vice president level or higher at patreon.com/rememberthegame, and as such, I am contractually obligated to thank them as quickly as possible. So a huge, huge thank you to Makeshift Mellow Magic Money, Joe Buck, Sharonic, Andre, The Keegs, James Clark, Dave McGee, Dan of DNA Gaming, Slick Rick, Doug Doran, Chris Fleury, Andrew Wright, Jordan, Fraser Burns, Angry Ticks, Dave Thompson, No One Cares, Scott Brooks, Aaron Lawson, Nathan Tremblay, A-Town Morgan, Zane Donovan, Ryan Kinchin, Mike Maloney, G9PSX, Mercury 869, Wolfgang, Darren, Andy Hudson, Doogie, Wolf Magic 21, Johnny from Virginia, Squints, Titan 420, Zonko 504, Jeff Bergeron, Captain N, Daniel, Tunable Power, John Woodruff, Sir Francis Cake, Just a Fish, Trevor Leahy, Gonzalo, Holmes, Zach Shepard, that was ugly. Ballsack T, not you, Zach. My pronouncing of your name. You're very attractive. Ballsack Teabagger, Frosty Feet 492, Triple Chugger 22, Elijah Burns, It's That Nerd James, Raysan Wantonga, DBXJ, Jameer Williams, Steve Dulk, Mizuru, Juris Dr. Mario, Phil Lencher, Joe the Sandman, Ruben Elizalde, Eric James, Nick Amos, Jake Carter, Thomas Childs, Biddy, Laces Out Dan, Beaver Boy, C-Spin, Thomas Smith, Nicola. Dude, I'm on Benadryls. I'm struggling here. Nicola, Leroy Westrich, Sean Ramos, Stud Still Smash, Matt Babineau, Gabe, Dan Fusselman, Fuzzy99, Decoy Man, a dude named Adam, Wyatt the Surgeon who's not a surgeon, Rowe, Blaine the Hoagie Man, Scary Terry, Storm Beagle, Antonio Echeverria, Haga Waffle, High Plains Drifter, Esteban Navarro, K-Atch, Timothy, Joe Stone, Chris Williams, Oroku Saki's Gardener, Puck, Scrub Tech 84, Nicole Aldena, Cody Richardson, General Fury, Dem Boys on the Roof, Max Lagroom, James on Francesco, John of the Adult Children Podcast, Franklin Badge, Jugs of Ben, okay, Sam Carpenter, Donnie the Dude, Walter, Nerdy Hybrid, The Fletchman, Colin Bollinger, Sleeper Hit, Squeak Nuts, Isaias, Timmy the Exuberant Turtle, Brian Neese, Christian Gabriel, Maverick Marty, Radioactive Man, Musty Beetle, Graham Kennedy, My Foot, John M. Watkins, Timothy Sabrinsky, Beef Dingleberry, Hitchy Poo, Len, I think it's Len, I still don't fucking know if that's an L or an I, Bulma Simp, Chevy Boy 9211, Trevor McKee, Burt Macklin, Quiet Place Queen, Cam Nelly 23, Christopher Britt, Zamatos, Big the Cat, Oh My God It Froze, Bobby Litton, Brandon DeZeba, Kia Pup, Knife Goes In Guts Come Out, AB Killin Works For Me, Dakota Guy, Alexander Camps, Neil Cooper, Tom Houlihan, Ted Explosion, Ryan Perry, Alex R, It's the Bigfoot, Lucas Valadez, Itchy Nutsuru, Mr. Papa Giorgio, Just Car Prank, Solomon Soto, Darth Skywalter, Postman, WestGen, Nick Creature, Adam Martinet, Nafi, The Big Deal, Dr. Nightmare 23, Kevin Monroe, Can't Destroy Her, Beers of War, Because 19, Digital Dave, Lord Longrod, Von Hugendom II, Brian Weber, Frosty Bear, Max Sandin, Sour Goatface, Alex Ramos, Faded Sufferance, Benjamin Atkins, Mellow Yellow 8787, B Money, Hired Goons, Who, It's OG, Tyler Bauer, Fallen Snow Kiku, The Supreme Chozorizo, E-Man Trucker, Mark Sneed, That One Kid, Josh, Raging Irish, Atrio Wormwood, Shoeboxers, Adam Blank, Still Isn't Reviewed, Mario Galaxy, Jay Callahan, Robbie Air, Guy Who Does Things, Saban, Brian Richmond, Blobby Rogers, Super Nintendo Chalmers, Glue Scappin, Bula, Adam Blank's Evil Twin, Matt Zeus, Buy Me Bone Storm, Plow King, Cesar, Filling My Mouth With Farts, Liquor Like Luigi, Cody Thompson, Uncanny, Elephant Cab, Scissorfist, Big Daddy Randall, Ryan Whitcomb, Flinny123, Austin from Past to Present Player Podcast, Lord State Puff, Johnny Zubu 81, AJ Mukherjee, Lotus, Philip Ramsey, Nothing Could Possibly Go Wrong, Alex McIntyre, Bearded Bastard, Occupied Ace, Eric Hopewell, and Andrew Rodman. Nailed the last one. Thank you so much, everybody, for the support. Talk to you on the next one. Cheers.